All right, I'll break down what these police departments are saying in reference to how they are required to react to ICE operations. First off, they don't honor detainers. Lawful. That's lawful. Well, actually, I'm not going to tell you that's lawful. That's still impeding. The question is, can you prosecute the police department for that? And you probably could. But when we get to clear-cut violation of civil rights, that's when we get to what I'm trying to say here. They're not going to help ICE locate immigrants that are wanted by ICE. Well, why is that illegal? Because you have a service that you offer. You're not just somebody who comes along and goes, "Oh, I'm not going to help you." Right. You're not Mrs. Good saying, "I don't want to help you. I won't help you find a," because you're a law enforcement entity, and the laws and the system we have here in the United States, which includes the Constitution and all those things, put you in place to do that. You're discriminating against one thing over another, which is not where you're allowed to be. However, clear-cut discrimination is when you don't answer 911 calls. Because there's nobody else that's supposed to do that. You understand that? It's corruption not to do that. They do that in Venezuela. Certain people don't, you call 911 or whatever it is, call the police, they won't come out there. Third world countries, they do that. You cannot walk into federal court and say, "We don't help ICE." Because ICE is made up of U.S. citizens, members of the public. Happen to be in a government assignment, but that doesn't allow you to shirk your duties. Because if you did your job, Mrs. Good would be alive. I guarantee it. Mrs. Good's death directly falls on Minneapolis Police Department, Minneapolis government, the mayor, and the governor of Minnesota, and the state police. They all have a requirement to not engage in nonfeasance and malfeasance. And that's what that was. You're not allowed. That's why nonfeasance and malfeasance exists. You can try to dehumanize ICE so you can get people to attack them because you've been doing it to U.S. citizens your whole lives as part of the deep state shadow government criminal enterprise. But now you messed up because you made it bigger. Ms. Good's death is directly related, and the government could make the case, to non-enforcement of traffic and noise laws. And encouraging what she's doing. Your schools are encouraging it. It's not protest. You can't protest an act of law enforcement activity. It still hasn't reached the Supreme Court, but I can't wait till it does. You can't. And you know what? All that stuff you're doing in the street, it's getting filmed. I mean, the Supreme Court is watching it. And you go, "Trump made us do that. Trump made Mrs. Good do that. Otherwise, she'd be painting pots and dishes and going to the PTA meeting." Now, if you can ask your own cops, even Minnesota, I think Minneapolis PD and Minnesota State Police would tell you that they've arrested people on the most vicious warrants they've ever seen, and they painted pots, and they were in the PTA. They got kids. And they didn't even go and yell at agents and drive around and beat their horns. They never broke the law like that. They cursed me. Did you hear that? That's how that happened. Whoa. They'll just keep taking you all down metaphysically until that doesn't happen. If another 30 years, 50 years, then so be it. And if I depart the planet, it'll still keep going. Whoa! So, this idea that Mrs. Good is above murdering police officers is a lie, or law enforcement officers is a lie. In fact, we don't know what her next move was. There are plenty of men who have sat in front of a woman. It's a woman thing. I'm just telling you. I'm not mad. Oh, yes, you are. Right. There is no possible way to protest something that is statutorily impeding. It's two different things. Look, they don't prosecute you because your juries are shit. Your people are shit. That's okay. But it doesn't make it not a violation of law in front of the Supreme Court. I mean, they can sit there and say, yeah, that's a violation of law. So that can't be a protest. Right. Like I said, the best way to figure it out is this. You can't walk into a bank and steal the money and run off and say, I was just testing security, or I don't believe in the bank laws. You can't do that. That's what you're doing. I'm just telling you, you're heading for a big crash, all of you. In fact, I don't know if a police department in any way can say they don't respond to something they normally respond to, because it's discrimination. If you don't believe in ICE law, you could probably get away with not helping. Right. And this question is whether you're allowed to do that, because you are a sworn entity. But there's no way that you're not. I guarantee there were. And when you look at if you get that 911 log, check to see if they altered it. You can charge them for that. I'm sure somebody called. I said, look, somebody's beeping their horn like crazy. They straddle in the middle of the street, blocking traffic. Oh, we were only blocking ICE, but now today they go, we weren't blocking ICE. Somewhere along the way they said they were only blocking ICE. Now today they're not doing anything. They're just there as an observer. They're back to that one. They are obviously blocking more than ICE. Did you ever notice that? Everybody on the street is ICE or the protester. Like it's not bothering anyone else. That's how the media is covering up that part. No, members of the public are calling the police saying they got a nutbag out here beeping her horn. She's blocking traffic. I don't know what she's doing. Right. Thank you, sir. No, don't send anybody. The mayor says we can't send anybody. It's mayor law. It's not state law. It's not local law. It's not federal law. It's mayor law. Now, I didn't realize, just speaking about mayor law, and I understand he's trying to change stuff up, but the protesting in front of religious institutions, you have to bring that back quick. Right, what was the governor's name? I forget the governor's name right up there. Or not governor, mayor. What's the mayor's name? Oh, you going to run for governor? By the time Ocho messes up, he might be able to win. Eric, yeah, Governor or Mayor Eric. I used to call him Eric Gardner. They're trying to kill him, you know. But he did have it in place that there were no protesting in front of religious institutions. I believe that's in line with federal law. Right. Well, because you can't protest in front of a religious place without hindering free exercise of religion, because it will affect their psychology. Right. And I mean mosques, everything. Okay, so I'm not trying to be only Jewish places. That's the one thing he messed up on. Eric did mess up, kind of promoting this anti-Semitism idea without just neutralizing it, right? And just applying it to all religion, right? Thank you, Larry. Well, you can be sued. I don't know how it would work. They may just actually not give a monetary amount, but just say that you have to create that environment, right, and enforce the law there. You can be forced to enforce law. Well, ICE officers are a victim class now. I don't care what you believe, ICE officers are a victim class. You know, even tell you the truth, and you've seen it in the thug world. Even if they were wrong for some reason, they can still sue you if you're wrong. Right. There's somebody in prison right now that's going to get like $2 million or something. She like killed a bunch of people, but somewhere around there they violated her rights. Right. Well, you're being set up. I'm telling you right now, somebody's setting you all up. You have no authority to do anything you're doing against ICE. You don't. I really don't even believe you don't. I don't believe you even have the right not to help them, because as a law enforcement entity, you have to do what you would normally do. Man, it's law. I guess you could say it's administrative law, and we're a criminal law entity, and we wouldn't necessarily do that. They should go to a process-serving company or a bounty hunter and have them find them. And again, they've been accused of it. I don't know if they've done it. But well, I mean, there's tons of people that work bounty hunter and they're deputy U.S. marshals. You know, former, right? But I don't think you can't say because they're doing that, I'm not going to respond to state and local, traffic laws and noise complaints. And again, what they're doing is not lawful. It's an unlawful assembly at a minimum. And it is stalking. They showed up at the hotel again. Well, it's going to go in front of the Supreme Court. I'm just telling you. Make sure, it'll be up there in Technicolor. Well, whoever said that Trump didn't need military lied. Well, because you may not see I brought this up before. You may not see the need for the law enforcement for the military, because the military is there. Do you understand that? Right now, there's a case for military, but you already ordered that there's no military. Right. So by the time it gets to the Supreme Court and they show them all that stuff, they say, well, Your Honor, we tried to avoid this by putting military, but your judges said that we couldn't use military. Now this is happening. No, not it's not love and war. This is statutory requirements, Constitution. civil law, litigation, tort. They can't sue. They're going to sue the federal government. And all the federal government says, look, they're causing it. The mayor tells them to do it. The governor tells them to do it. ICE Watch tells them to do it. And these are federal crimes that they're engaged in. You can't sue the government for what you're causing, all of you. It's like saying, you know, cop comes to your door, you shoot yourself, say, cop caused me to do this. He came to my door. I better not say that much. They come to my door. Let's see if it works. Go to his door. See if he'll kill himself. Take him out of our misery. Thanks. You're suing the government for the chaos you all caused. If they enforce their traffic laws, if they enforce their noise laws, if they enforce their stalking laws, there's probably even laws that don't allow them to do that to law enforcement, period, in some of the states. Then that wouldn't have happened. There would be no need for military. There would be no need to spray people. Well, I'm just protesting. You can't. By the time it gets to the Supreme Court, I guarantee the argument will be there that there is no such thing as protesting an active law enforcement operation, whether you agree with the law or not. It's like a 911 call. They come in, you block the 911 call, you go to jail. Or the 911 response. Your opinion of federal law doesn't matter anymore. Like I said, the only argument is that it's just administrative law, and not all of it is, but you know, some of it is. And again, the basis for it generally is administrative law, and we are a criminal investigative entity. But it stops with the actual helping you find the person and detain the person. But you can't deny the other protections. And you can't protest administrative law. I mean, I hope the Supreme Court uses the statement that you want your cake, you need it too, and you can't, because that's what you want. You want to cause the mess, and then you want the court to rule the mess as being the government's fault. And again, quite honestly, as I did in my life, all the PIs, the law enforcement, all those people, all those corrupt people. Oh, it's his fault. Wait a minute, where'd my trash can go? This don't make no sense. Did I move it over here? Oh, there it is. Put it on the other side. I mean, no judge is going to sit there. Maybe Sotomayor, I don't know. no judge is going to, no overwhelming number of judges. I'm going to sit there and say that video was contrived. He had no right to shoot the person driving the vehicle at him. Right. And then the craziest part is, well, what I find strange is the camera recording. The first time that a Democrat has ever come out against body cams. Right. Well, I find strange that you said that. Right. So it's like a bunch of defense lawyers that have no case. They're just sometimes it works. The jury goes, yeah. But if it's a judge trial, it doesn't work. You go, oh. And when you get to appellate court, it's a judge trial. Right. So they create as much chaos as they can. They go, well, Trump did it. Right. At a certain point, I would have said, yeah, but not at this point. Right. Now, the only thing, the whole Comey thing is so crazy. Like I said, the way to handle it, again, the way to handle a lot of things, you just don't say anything. I mean, you were actually, where did you get? You got somewhere. You got somewhere with that Lev dude and other dude. Yeah, and then you like pounds, you like sprung it on him. Ah! Trump used to be able to do that kind of stuff. Now he's like, hey. He's a victim. He's a, what do they call that? He's got PTSD from the deep state wars. And they're like, how dare you look at this man? Yeah, Bill and Hillary, I mean, they don't have to say anything. I think Bill had some medical problems. That's maybe why they don't want to go anywhere. See if the attorney can do something. Not going to say anything. But they need to show up. And again, as far as prosecuting Bill and Hillary, I mean, they probably would, but you know, I doubt they'd have any type of sentence, appreciable sentence, home confinement or something, right? But again, their attorney should tell them at a certain point that they have to just appear. Don't have to say anything. You walk in, you sit down, attorney does a speaking, you get up and leave. Right. No, they didn't kill this one. But that's what the deep state does do. Makes bodies show up. That's why when that other Seth Rich guy came, I knew it wasn't the Clintons. That's how they rule them. Right? How they get them to shut up and just, you know, do whatever the deep state wants generally. Lets them live their rich life, but you know, keeps them in line. Right? They keep talking, more bodies will show up. And they'll be pointing at the Clintons. Yeah, some career people did that. Career cronies. Right. Same people killed Luna probably killed Vince Foster. Because the deep state started in the capital region. So back then, it was pretty much 2000 is when it started. You know, late 90s, 2000 when it started expanding. I guess 2000. So if I wasn't in Baltimore, it never would have happened. I'd had enough career behind me and a real office where they couldn't have been done. If I went to Chicago or Detroit. All right, stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. Praise God.